morning, Max. Well, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. It was actually pretty good today. I was looking forward to this time of the day because that's the time I, can listen to whatever you have to say. And usually, that's a pretty good story. So I'm just hoping you're not going to disappoint.
Well, I have pain to share, and this is very current. So, a lot of times the story I tell is something that happened a while ago, and I've mulled on it for years. So this is mull free and pretty fresh. In the Bay Area here, we have the fast track. It's for the bridges, and now we're doing express lanes, and you get the little transponder you put on your car, and every time you go over a bridge or something, you don't have to stop. It just reads that, and it debits your account. Where I live in the South Bay, I cross a bridge maybe twice a year. So, I'm not going to get one. It makes no sense whatsoever. So what they have now, which is actually pretty cool, is you drive through and they take a picture of your license plate, and then they send you a bill, or you can sign up for an account and they'll just automatically take the money out against that. Years ago, I got one of the little transponder things, and I mean years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. And eventually gave it back because I never used it. But when I went to reestablish an account, because we started going over, one of our kids has moved to the East Bay, so now we're starting to go over bridges more.
Kind of feel I know where this is going, and that's going to hurt. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, that account was tied to an email address I no longer have. And that username, there was no way to recycle or reclaim, so I had to create a new username, which shame on me that I only have one username I really like, but it's fair. So it took me, I can't tell you how many times and how many tries before I finally reset my username. Got a bill, which is how, historically they've done it. Anyway, I got in, I established this account on the license plate now, and they're just supposed to bill me. And got a bill the other day and didn't even think twice, didn't even remember that I wasn't supposed to get them anymore. But okay, got it. And it said violation notice. And I was like, I didn't violate anything. I'm on auto pay now. What's going on? And sure enough, there was the fee, and then there was the $25 charge because I hadn't paid, even though I was set up on auto pay. Horrible website to navigate. Fought with it. Finally found the history of my interactions, and it didn't even have the thing they were trying to bill me for on there in the history of interactions. So I'm like, really? So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on, and you'd be proud of me. They had chat. Guess how I communicated?
Perfect.
Chat. So got in the queue. It was an 11-minute wait. This was about a little after 4:00. And then sure enough, I got into something else. And when I remembered to go back and look at it, my thing had timed out, and the poor agent had been there saying, well, sorry, you haven't responded. I'm moving on to the next one. So I had to do it again. And this time, instead of 11 minutes, it was half an hour, because now it had gotten close enough to 5:00 that everybody who got off work is now trying to get in and do their thing. So now I'm watching it, and it was fun. I was, my number in the queue, actually my number in the queue went down and then back up and then down. And my time waiting went down and then up and then back down. And eventually it got to 1 minute to go, and there was 15 minutes waiting at 1 minute to go. And eventually I got somebody. And of course, meanwhile, my brother-in-law came over with his family. They had literally just gotten back from Southern California, dropping off their kid. So we're all sitting there in the living room chatting, but I've got my laptop in my lap because I am not letting it go this time. And finally I got the guy, and it was a guy, and I said, here's what's going on. And I got to say, once I got the person, and once I got to here's what happened, he erased the fee on the other one. He said, your two thing. I guess there was some sort of a dating of when I signed up versus when this thing came in that got screwed up. But the other ones, as best I can tell, I was getting charged for. But he said, so I think he was kind of covering for the fact that they messed it up. But 5 minutes, or no, yeah, it was about a 3 to 5 minute wait. He said, okay, I fixed the one. And I said, what about these other ones? He said, no, they're fine. I said, is this going to auto pay from now on? He said, yes, absolutely. So like, okay, great. Now we'll see what happens. I don't trust them, but so tough wait, silly, bad use of estimated wait time, and just horrible UI on the web and usability of stuff. So there's my story.
All right. So first of all, sorry for you. Second, I think there are quite a lot of things we can analyze here. We may start with, retrieving your old account. This is a pain for many websites, but that is, I guess this is a challenge of finding the right balance between security, which is incredibly important because there is your credit card and identity and a lot of private information on that account. So security and customer experience. And unfortunately, very few, it's probably possible to find the right balance, but very few players do this properly. I'm just thinking in Europe, you have something similar in California. We have the GDPR, right?
Right.
And you have the Californian law that is very similar to GDPR. And that's supposed to protect the user, which is a great thing, but it comes with a terrible customer experience because you have 15 pop-ups of cookies, no cookies, I accept, I refuse, I reject, let's see later, come back to me.
Yeah,
that is.
It's interesting. They just had an article about that here. 10%, I think, of people actually do anything other than just accept cookies. So what is this doing for us other than
it's just making things more complex, but that's probably another topic. But the question is, if you do want safety, it comes with complexity. It's the same thing as many years ago we started complaining that why every time I want to log in, I have this stupid CAPTCHA asking me to click on the traffic light. Well, it is stupid, but if you want to reduce spam, that's like a must, a route you have to pick. You don't have choice, right? So those are the situations. Now, it was probably not well designed, but since you're telling me that's a solution that exists for 10, 15, 20, whatever years that is, I'm guessing the original architecture is probably a little bit old and it's always difficult to refresh a software at this stage. So,
and actually, I was going to say, and probably they have redone it. It's just the old stuff, but given the experience I had overall, I don't think that's the case.
and since you had that machine 10, 15 years ago, and you no longer have it, you're probably part of the 1% of exception that fall between the cracks. But still, that's bad customer experience. Not giving them excuses. That's bad customer experience. Then they got much better because they do have live chat. And considering that you had a pretty good experience on live chat, I mean, the fact that it went idle and you had to restart it, pretty much every live chat is going to do this because they can't just.
And that was my fault. I walked away. That was, I get that.
And I mean, when you think about it, if it was a phone call and you would leave the phone after 30 seconds, the guy would just hang up, right? He would not just wait on the line for you to come back. So same thing. Could have been better, but honestly, not such a big deal. I understand it. The fact that the queue went up and down could be either poor setup of the live chat that is influenced by there are more agents coming online, or people are finishing their shift, or some people finish their shift, other agents come in, and therefore that's moving stuff around without thinking about the big picture. Or it could simply be that you have some VIPs coming in for whatever reason. They have the loyalty program of the machine that you don't have, and therefore they are able to jump the queue and you're set back, but then it's being solved and you come back. I don't know. That's a weird experience.
I just have a hard time believing they're commuter VIPs, but maybe bridge
Well-
crosser VIPs.
Well, they should think about it, because I mean, if you subscribe on the ongoing program, you probably have more benefits than just paying every time you cross a bridge, right?
And you know what? You're actually, now that I think about it, it could be as simple as if you have the real toll tags. You're not one of the cheapskates like me who just has the license plate program. You are at the front. Yeah, that's actually fair. I hadn't thought about that.
So all of that, I mean, yeah, there are problems, but ultimately they fixed it. You're hopefully not going to be charged an additional $25 for something you haven't done. It's never a good thing to send a violation paper to customers who have not done anything wrong, but I guess that ends up creating a new CX story, so it's not that bad. I personally believe this is not the end of the story, and we're going to have a follow-up, and unfortunately for you, I'm pretty sure you're still going to receive papers from them, but I may be wrong. I hope I am. But yeah, well, I understand where you're coming from. I don't think it's such a bad story. Just let me tell you, I am super impressed. I do have an app on my phone that I never thought I would have, and I've had it for the past 3 years, and I did not uninstall it. The French government has created an app just for you to pay your penalties. You know, when you have a speed ticket on the on the highway, they've created
loaded that on your phone. Do you drive fast?
That happened once 3 years ago, but I was so amazed that for once the government was not sending me through, receive a paper letter, write a check, send it back, and
right.
They had an app for that. I was so amazed. I downloaded it. I made it a choice to make sure I pay through that, and I never deleted it ever since. I'm hoping I'm never going to have to use it again. But that was so amazing. That's probably what they miss. Now, let's go to stage 2. You've built a system, it's working, you get fairly good customer service. What's the next stage that we can make the experience even better? And there was an upsell opportunity here that they did not use. This agent should have tried to, or maybe another right candidate, but they should have tried to see, is this guy the right candidate to actually use the machine instead of dealing with our website and all of that? Did they even try to do some upsell?
They didn't, and honestly, I'm glad they didn't. I would have been very crabby about, I may find over time that we are going across the bay enough that I do want to do it, but I don't know. I just would have been like, oh, don't use this for an upsell. I think I don't know. I would not have been very receptive to it. When I step back and think about it, I think you're probably right. It would have been a good time to try. But I think
I would just have said, we're really sorry for the experience. Look, let me offer you 3 months free on our program, assuming that you want to sign up with this. Let me make the first 3 months free. You could sign up. He gets a 9 months sign up from you. You get 3 months free. Everyone is happy. I would have probably tried it, but yeah, you're right. If you were grumpy in the first place, it's probably not the right time to make an upsell.
But I don't know. One thing about chat, it's really hard to know how grumpy somebody was. I wasn't swearing with any of my messages or anything.
Very true. Very true. How do you feel about that whole story now?
I feel better. I'm glad we talked that through. This was $25. It wasn't life and death or anybody crying or anything like that, but it's a frustration. It's nice to air out. And I think I'll walk with a little lighter step the whole rest of the day.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you do feel better. Please keep us updated, because I do feel like you're going to receive another letter and I want to hear about it.
I hope not. Please no. I hope we never talk about this one again.
And, well, I guess I will talk to you next week then.
Sounds great. Thanks, Julien.
Thanks, Max. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.